everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are in this world. It's Vicky Omifalaji, your host of Vicky Show, Becoming Unstoppable. Today, I've got a great guest, a dear friend of mine, Anna Peters, who will be talking to us about what she's done to become unstoppable. But before I bring Anna onto the stage, I would like to first of all sponsors. The first one is all about our health, my health, and it's something that is so dear to Anna's heart. So let's check this out. How is your energy? Do you struggle with having restful sleep? How is your immune system? Do you struggle with stress, concentration, and mental fatigue? GSH Plus is your answer. It's the answer that you need because the ingredients contained in GSH Plus formula may support your immune system, optimize your strength and energy, and it can empower your daily living. Provision GSH Plus can be ordered through the link we've provided. About Provision GSH Plus, I would definitely recommend it to you. But before I actually talk about it, I will bring Anna onto the show. She's gonna talk to us more about it. Now, join me to welcome Anna Peters on to Vicky show. My dear friend Anna, you are welcome.
Hi.
Where
Hi,
are you?
Vicky.
Come on.
Hi. How are you? It's so good
Hello,
to see
Anna.
So good to see you.
Good to see you. Same here. The internet. Oh yeah, the internet here is not so good, so it's a bit lagging because I'm in the regional. I'm in Bensdale at the moment, so the internet isn't good, sort of lagging. Just with me, audience, and how are you?
I'm really well. It's been a crazy time launching in 4 countries at the moment. We expect to go into 50 countries in the next 10 years. So it's a crazy time, but I love it. I absolutely love what I'm doing, and helping people is my passion. Health is my passion. And so it's great to be involved with a group of beautiful people who have the same goals.
Definitely. Before we get into it, I would like you to first of all tell our viewers about you. Who is Anna Peters? I know you. We've been friends for a few years now, but who is Anna Peters?
Okay, well, when I was younger, my friends used to say, "Have you seen Anna? Have you seen Anna around? Where is Anna?" And they would say, "Anna's Zoom." And so Anna Peters is someone who, I embrace life with everything. I'm grateful for life. I've always been very highly ambitious from a very young age. I read a lot of success stories. I was inspired by self-made millionaires. That was my inspiration not to accept a mediocre life. I wanted to achieve, and I wanted to do so many things, and I didn't let anything stop me. I mean, I came from an upbringing, a very strict upbringing, where the end goal was get married, have children, which I think is fantastic. But it wasn't what I wanted to do in my late teens or in my early 20s. And of course, maybe if I'd met the right person, I may have gone down that road early. But I remember thinking, I'm not ready for that. I've got so many things I want to achieve, and I've got a whole life ahead of me. I definitely don't want to get married before I'm 40. And the funny story is I met my husband at 39 years of age. So my wish became true. But I achieved, I took life with everything it had, and I went for it, and I did everything I wanted to achieve. I tried, and if it didn't if I wasn't enjoying it, or if I didn't find that it was fulfilling, I would move on to the next, and I would rewrite my goals every year. And at the end of the year, I would look back at the 12 months and have a look. And most of the time, I had achieved the goals that I had started with at the beginning of the year. And I think I was very lucky to have read a very inspirational book when I was young. I grew up in a family that wasn't poor, but they certainly had a poor upbringing, my parents. So the mentality was that that's all that they knew. And I read a beautiful book by Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I remember reading that book.
Exactly.
And, yeah, it had an incredible effect on my life, because I was able to understand that I couldn't use my father as a role model if I wanted to become a self-made millionaire. I had to choose a different role model. So I read so many self-help books of entrepreneurs who became self-made millionaires, and I followed. They all had one thread. They all had many things in common. So I applied those strategies in life, and I went for it. That's me.
Wow.
That's Anna Peters.
Then, yeah, that's Anna Peters. There are a few things you talked about. You chose not to live a mediocre life. Number two, you look around you. Your parents, I mean, our parents, they've always been the norm. They are the normal. That's all we know. That's all people that we see around us, and whether we like it or not, we tend to take on the way they do things. But you
That's right.
realize that what they were doing wasn't what you wanted for your life. Made a choice. No, I love them, but they cannot be my role model. I have to choose who my role model is going to be. There are people that are standing, people that goes we want in life, people that go for it. So those couple of things just stand out from everything you've talked about. And becoming unstoppable starts exactly from all this, the mindset.
Oh, yeah.
So, Anna, thank you for coming on to the show. It's been great knowing you, being your friend, and we've been in each other's lives for 5-6 years. And yes, we worked together at SWAC at a point before you decided to leave me in Melbourne and you moved to Sydney.
Oh, yes.
But the distance it's not a barrier, because we still manage to catch up from time to time and talk on the
Absolutely.
phone, the Zoom, which is so great. um you came into my life. I mean, we've been friends, but the time that I actually needed somebody, that you sent me and said, Vicky, I'll send you something. You didn't even ask me, I'm going to send you. You just said, Vicky, I've already sent your package, use it for the next 2 weeks, and you will thank me later. Tell me about that. What came to your mind, before you decided to put that in the box, in a post, and send it to me in Melbourne? Tell me what was in your mind?
Well, I think because number one, I know 100% what the formulation is and what it's going to do for you. But I also could hear that, at a certain age in our life, we lose a very important molecule, and some people make more of it, other people don't make enough of it. And if there's signs of chronic problems, coughing or immune problems, anything that may um, make you feel just not firing at all cylinders. You just feel you're fatigued and you're not as strong as what you normally are. And that can happen to any of us. Sometimes stress can take over our life and it takes up a lot of energy. So I just said to myself, now I know that Vicky's going to feel the difference. I'm not even going to explain it to her. Vicky, just take the product, you'll feel better, and we'll talk about it later. let the product let the product talk for itself. Let you feel and experience the changes, and then we can talk about the science afterwards. But your health comes first, and I wanted you to get a great results immediately because I was concerned, because that's my passion. Is I want to make people feeling good all the time and not feeling because they're at a certain age that they're going to have to be tired. That's not true. We can have our cells, we can reboost our cells daily if we give them what they need. And sometimes food doesn't give us everything we need, and we can't get what we need from food. And unfortunately, we need to supplement. So there are special things out of the moment. Technology has advanced so much. We've got genetic testing available, which enables us to see what our cells need on a daily basis to be able to have full energy no matter how old you are, even if you're 80. We help people at 80 years of age by giving the cells what they need to refuel so that they can go out there and live life to the fullest, even at 80 and 90. We have people 80 and 90 years of age that can't believe the difference, and they panic when they're nearly running out. So that's how you know a good is working.
So you knew, yeah. Last year, you knew we cut before you moved to Sydney. We met, we caught up, and I told you about what I went through after I lost my mom and the pain and everything. You know, we talked for hours. I didn't even know how Stephen beard it because we just kept talking nonstop. You know, and then in January, I lost my father, and I think it was in February that I sent you a text that I've lost my dad. And you felt, I could hear the pain. You had this, oh my goodness, Vicky, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you said, you didn't say anything. It was the week later that you said, I've sent something to you, use it. I know you need that. And I want to say very big thank you to you for doing that for me at that time, because I needed it. I needed something. I needed something. Now let's start from I can from my own personal experience and few of the stories that some of the people that I've introduced this to are sharing. I can only talk from that angle. Now, when I lost my mother last year, I was in a very bad place for so many months. For about went to 10 months pain, and it was, you know, emotional pain is difficult to describe. You feel the pain, you know, physical pain, you feel it, you touch it, you do whatever. But the emotional pain is something that I really can't describe, but I felt it and it was so bad and it was going on forever and ever. Now, I know, I can say at that point, my immune system was compromised. And why did I say that? I kept on having recurrent, I tend to forget this. You know, I was on antibiotics nonstop. You know, I kept having, you know, UTIs, I kept having coughs, you know, chest infections, infection upon infection. And I realized that it was my immune system that it was just compromised. I wasn't able to, all my defenses were down. So can we get you, can I get you to talk about the impact of stress, low immune system and all that on our body that tends to leave us bare to infections upon infections? Could you explain this to our viewers?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, going back, I remember when we did have that talk and when you lost your parents, I could relate because I remember I had just started on our first generation formula just before my mother died. And I remember thinking that, goodness, if I didn't have it, I think I would have broken down completely. I mean, you lose the people that you love the most, that are so dear to you. And I could feel the pain in your voice. I remember relating to it, and I knew that if I didn't help you in that moment, that you could go down fast. I mean, I think the emotional stress, people don't realize, emotional stress is one of the most difficult things to overcome, because when the heart is hurting, it is far harder to repair that than breaking your arm, or that repairs quickly, or a broken tooth or gum disease or anything like that heals faster than anything else. However, your heart is probably the one thing that can take a very long time, and some people never recover from a broken heart. We hear about this all the time. And so emotional stress, I would say, is the most difficult thing to overcome. And some people are alone in their life. Some people don't have the support around them, and they depend on something. They need something to help them get through difficult times. Now, when we lose people, it's normal to grieve. However, if we're really, really hurting and we don't have the emotional support around us, and we don't have the physical support, which is where proper supplementation comes in, you can end up being very sick, because your heart is broken. Your immune system, the stress causes your genes to actually fire in a very negative way. And when your genes fire in a negative way, it creates a chain reaction of negative chemical reactions in the body that leads to a low immune system, that leads to problems, health problems. And people don't understand that it is a chemical reaction when our emotions, and when we're hurting and when we're suffering and we have a broken heart. We need to support ourselves with good people around us. We need to support ourselves with good nutrition and good supplementation to give our bodies everything we need to get through that heartache. Absolutely.
So stress, emotional heartache, of course, compromises our immune system. So there's no defenses in our body to fight all those infections that are occurring to me. Now, so tell us a little bit about GSH Plus.
Okay. Yes, I'm very excited about this. Is one of the most exciting breakthroughs in medicine that I've ever come across. There's been over 160,000 published medical studies released on the public medical library about what this amazing, and I call it a miracle molecule because it is. It was discovered in 1880 by scientists, but it wasn't until 50 years later in 1930 that they discovered how important this molecule is. And they discovered that everybody is born with it, except some people are born with high amounts, other people are born with very little amounts, and the people that were born with very little amounts of this amazing molecule tend to have diseases or illnesses. And when we looked at all the studies, we looked at if you have low levels of GSH, which is the scientific term for glutathione. If you have low levels of glutathione in your body, it is related to 74 major diseases. And so we knew that that was something that we had to support. And the incredible scientists that developed the breakthrough, first time in 15 years ago, they had been working on the formulations and working on studying it for 40 years. The scientists, they were doctors and pharmacists, they all got together and they developed this incredible breakthrough. And we were so lucky to come across, I was lucky to come across it. When I first came across the formula, before it was, I came across the formula through my contacts in the United States from speaking around the world, and I came across the formula. I was very chronically fatigued at the time. I was a former athlete. We didn't understand why I went from a healthy person to a very fatigued person. And little did I know before I did my genetics training that I was born 50% depleted at birth by GSH, by glutathione. So when I found this formula before it was 2 years before it was released in Australia, and I partnered with the company, and I was responsible for getting it into the hands of about 5,000 people, and I helped the lives of 5,000 people. But when I started taking the formula, my life changed. I went from being fatigued every single day to finally having the energy that I had previously. And I thought, what is in this supplement? How could this one product possibly make such an incredible difference to my life? And whatever this is, I need to find out about it, I need to learn about it, and I need to support it and get behind it. And so I did. And that was our first generation formula. And now a glutathione is the most critical molecule in our body. And the immune cell relies on glutathione as its fuel support. And it has three major functions in the body. Number one is that it supplies energy to the immune cell, and every cell in your body depends on glutathione for its production. Number two, it helps the detoxing of the body. Now, when we, with the foods we eat and the air we breathe, we take in an enormous amount of negative toxicity, and glutathione's main function is to expel it through the body daily. So to have glutathione is so important. It's like drinking water or eating food. It is required. Now, most people don't realize that at the age of between 20 and 25, we're already depleting our stores. And at the age of 26, we're aged clinically. Scientists have said that we're old. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we need to support this because we're losing 15% of our glutathione stores. The science tells us every 10 years we lose 1 to 5. That's 10 to 15%, 1 to 5 every year. So that's 10 to 15% every 10 years we're losing. So from the age of 20, then 30, then 40, we have a significant decrease in our levels, and we cannot get it from food. So that's the two things. Now, the third one is it keeps all the inflammation in our body down. And everybody knows that every single illness is related to inflammation. So if we can keep the inflammation in our body down, we're preventing ourselves from getting any serious illness. So they're the three main things that glutathione does in our body. It's an inbuilt cooling agent for our body. It puts out all the fires in the body. So before the fires start, it will go there wherever it's needed, and it will do its job, and it will cool and reduce the inflammation. All the studies show that it reduces tumor necrosis factor alpha, TNFA. So you're reducing inflammation, right? So this is very, very critical. So reducing inflammation, increasing your energy. And the incredible thing about it, the used up form, when you use up glutathione in your body, it promotes what we call delta wave sleep, which is the deep sleep that's required for anti-aging to repair and recover at night when we sleep. And this is critical. So if, as you get older, you notice that people, as they get older, they don't need as much sleep because they don't have enough glutathione in their body. And they're not getting the delta wave sleep, so they're shortening their life. But if we can increase their glutathione levels by taking GSH Plus, Provision GSH Plus, which is the most advanced formula today, we don't have any competition because it's an incredible formula. What the scientists have put in there, our formulators have done such an incredible job of keeping up to date with technology and what we know in genetics today. So we're very excited about this because it helps in so many different areas. And if you can put 5 people in a room and they'll all have different things going on, and this will take care of everything. And when I say everything, you still have to have a good diet. You have to have good nutrition, and you have to follow everything your doctor tells you based on your genetics. You've got to follow what the doctor tells you. But if you can support your body in a really good way with good nutrition and good supplementation, that's all you'll need in your life.
Wow, wow, wow. And I can testify to this. Honestly, I can. It's like, I mean, to me, it seems like a miracle drug, because of what it has done for me so far. I just can't believe it. Um, for those who struggles to sleep, okay, let me go back to this. You said we lose 10 to 15% of glutathione every 10 years.
That's right.
So
Starting at, yes.
at 26, we're already old because of
That's
the
right.
amount that we are losing, right? So
Yes.
now, no wonder by the time people are knocking the age of 50, they start having one problem after another, health issues,
Yes.
inability to sleep. And if you're a woman, that's extra because you have postmenopausal issues and so many other conditions. Now, with glutathione, replacing, replenishing, renewing the dead cells, it's something that we need to do.
We prevent the cells from dying 100%. Without glutathione, the cell dies. Without glutathione, the cell dies. So we need to give the cells what they need to produce the energy, to allow the body's functions to continue. And just because you're 50 or 60 or 70, it doesn't mean you have to slow down. It means that you can now replenish and keep going and have the energy and vibrancy, because at the end of the day, we want quality of life. It doesn't matter if you're 60 or 70, but if you feel like you're 50, fantastic. If you're 30, but you feel like you're 80, well, that's not good. So, we found out that, and the athletes are the first people who notice a decline in their ability to recover because they push their bodies so much, and most of them retire at the age of 30. They end up very arthritic, a lot of inflammation, a lot of knee problems, and now we're able to completely reverse and regenerate the athletes so that they can keep going. And it's amazing. We can get retired athletes back into their training, and they can go more than what a person that's 10 years younger than them do in the training in the gym, because their bodies are performing the way they should be, because they've got the fuel.
So this is more like a fuel to your body. You had an accident years ago.
Yes.
And tell us about that accident, and you're using GSH Plus. What has that done to you?
Yes. Well, it changed my life in many ways, but I would like to explain to everybody. I had 4 car accidents in a space of 12 months, and I wasn't the driver. I was the passenger. But what actually happened, each time I was being pushed, my vertebra was being pushed forward, and down the lower back, I got what they call a condition called spondylolisthesis, which is a fracture or a forward fracture of the vertebrae, where I was, we didn't know that this had happened because the pain and symptoms were in my neck, and but the condition was actually in the lower back, which we didn't find out till 25 years later. So I had a lot of suffering, a lot of pain. There was instability. The spine was twisting up. It was causing excruciating pain. There was nerve damage. I had paralysis at one point for 1.5 years, and we had no explanation. When I came, and eventually I was so chronically fatigued and I couldn't get out of bed. I was in a lot of pain. I had migraines, headaches. The spine was twisting. I had pain all over the body, and we couldn't understand. I felt like I was on fire. I felt like I was you know, at the age of 30, I felt like I was in an 80-year-old body that wasn't working. And I used to have to walk around with a walking stick. It was very, very difficult. There were times I couldn't walk for 2 weeks at a time, because my body wasn't working. And when I did my genetic training, when I came across the product that changed my life, I started to study what it was. And because I thought, how can this one product, and I had tried so many. I was on so many vitamins and minerals, but this was something critical. And then when I did my genetic training, I understood why I was so bad. Not only was I born depleted by 50% at birth, and by the way, 50% of the population is depleted at birth. So some people can go. Some people can drink and smoke their whole life till the age of 80 and still not have any health problems. Whereas somebody that is depleted at birth by 50% of glutathione or GSH, they don't have the ability to put the fires out. They don't have the ability to, they don't have the genetics to be able to withstand that kind of lifestyle. And even though they're fit and healthy, the more you exercise, the more you use up your glutathione, your natural glutathione. So, you know, sometimes you hear about athletes that drop dead of a heart attack because they were running on empty. They were extremely fit. They were fit. They had lung capacity. Their fitness was excellent, but their heart couldn't keep pumping because it didn't have the fuel that it needed to keep pumping. And they just dropped dead of a heart attack. And people said, but we don't understand. They were so fit. I said, being fit does not mean that you are healthy. Being fit does not mean that you have everything you need. You have to support your body with the nutrients that it needs. Being fit does not mean that you are healthy, and I need people to understand this is very critical. It's very important. Our heart is a muscle and it keeps pumping, but if it runs out of fuel, it will stop pumping, and that's the bottom line. So it changed my life, and I went from being not able to walk to being bedridden with chronic fatigue. And within a few weeks' time, between 2 to 4 weeks, my life changed. And for me, that was a change overnight when I had been suffering for 25 years. And people say to me, Anna, why do you support glutathione? And I support it because not enough people know about it, even though there's 160,000 published medical studies on the public medical library, nobody knows about it. The only reason nobody knows about it is because, unfortunately, we only had the breakthrough 15 years ago where it's proven that we can raise glutathione levels when we take this supplement. We have that evidence. We didn't have it before. Therefore, there was no point in talking about it because we didn't know how to increase our levels. So that's why nobody was talking about it. And look, I believe that in the future it'll be a subject at university. And I'm hearing that in America, and if they're doing it, if it rolls out in America, it will roll out in Australia. They will use it as a marker for life insurance, so that eventually they'll be testing everybody as to see what their glutathione levels are like. And if their glutathione levels are at ample levels, you'll be able to get life insurance. But if your glutathione levels are low, you won't even be able to get life insurance. So this is where the medical industry is going to begin to start to using glutathione testing. We don't have that available in Australia at the moment, but it's something that will happen over the next 10 years, where we'll be able to test people's glutathione levels, and we will be able to say, right, you need more glutathione because your body doesn't make enough. So I'm telling everybody, as what I call the core fundamentals of what we need on a daily basis, if we need water, we need good nutrition from our food, our vitamin and minerals. But just as important as water and food, we need glutathione, because all of your vitamins and minerals works through the channel of glutathione. And if you don't have enough glutathione, you're not getting enough vitamins and minerals either. So it's very, very important that we support it. And it's very important that we spread the word and we help people understand how important GSH is, glutathione.
Wow. I know you were into getting your clients to do DNA testing and to do testing regarding their gut health. I remember you used to do that, and you still
Yes.
do actually. So
Yes.
what is the connection between your gut health and glutathione? What does that do for what does glutathione do for our
Yes.
gut health, to help with our gut
Yes.
health?
The very good thing about glutathione is if you've got parasites in the gut, if you've got things that shouldn't be in the gut, some people go through a detox in the first week, sometimes even 2 weeks. But we notice that things change. And in that area, we notice that people start to regular with when they go to the bathroom, they begin to become more regular. It's very important. That's one of the most important things of health. And if I always tell people, if you're not going to the bathroom for number 2s within 1 hour of waking up every morning, you have a problem. And that is
Mm.
critical for people to understand. If your body is not working optimally, it shows. That's how we can tell. There's a problem. And when you take glutathione, everything starts to work. It's like all of a sudden it wakes the body up. It kills any bad bacteria in the gut. Sometimes we need to have extra support in that area, depending on what's in there. But if you've got parasites or anything like that, it will take care of it. Absolutely. It will really, really help the gut in that area. I highly, highly recommend it. Highly.
Now, there are few conditions that I want to mention and for you to explain a bit more. But there is something you talked about, energy to immune cells. For those people who didn't do science, some people like me, that is not scientific. Immune cells, every part of our body, we have cells in there.
Yes.
And over so many years, some get tired, some get worn out, some
That's right.
actually die. So in our brain, we have cells. In our heart, we have cells everywhere. And
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong or right.
Yes.
Those cells are the ones that carries blood from one part of the body to another.
Yes. The most critical
Yes.
critical thing about the immune cell is their job is that when a foreigner, when something foreign comes into and in contact with the body, their job is to immediately eradicate it. Their job is to rush to fight bacteria, to fight virus, to fight whatever it is that shouldn't be there. And that is the job of the immune cell. It is to get high immunity, and the highest immunity possible, you have to have been on a supplement for at least 3 months and continue to stay on it. It takes 3 months for your cells to copy a new version of itself. So if you're adding glutathione in, you've got to give it 3 months to get to its maximum level. Then the next 3 months, you're going to duplicate the better copy of your cell. The immune cell must have glutathione in the blood. It must have it on the access to glutathione on the outer cell wall, but it also must have glutathione access intracellular on the inside of the cell. So this supplement has taken care of glutathione in the most critical, when we're talking about viruses, the most critical part. When a virus first comes into your body, it contacts with your skin, it burrows itself into the blood immediately. And if you don't have enough glutathione in the blood, it will get to the second stage, which is the outer cell wall of your cells. Now, if your immune cell doesn't have enough glutathione to do its job at that moment and fight that virus, it will burrow itself through the outer cell wall inside where the mitochondria lives. The mitochondria on the inside of the cell is where it produces everything you need for your cell to function. Now, if there's not enough glutathione there either, it will do what we call the takeover. The virus will then It will have the spike proteins. It will copy a new message into the cell and start duplicating the wrong cellular message, which leads to illness. So what we're trying to do is prevent those three things from happening. Our product gets into the blood daily. We have a new technology. The ingredients, excuse that doorbell, somebody else will get it. In the ingredients are S-acetylcysteine and S-acetylglutathione, and L-glutathione is what gives your body the immediate delivery of glutathione straight into the blood via the gut. So when you take our formula, you're getting a daily dose of immediate glutathione straight into the bloodstream, so it can protect your body from any virus. It also has in the formula glutathione that will stay on the outer cell wall to prevent anything getting beyond that second stage. And it also takes care of inside. Now, if you've taken care of step 1 and step 2, the virus doesn't have a standard chance of getting in. And if 1 or 2 miss, it will eliminate it at that step. So we've taken care of the 1, 2, and 3 phases of a virus takeover on a cell. And we've taken care of the blood, we've taken care of the outer cell and the inner cell wall. This is critical for especially with what's going on around the world. So if your immune system is extremely strong, it will fight everything that comes your way, including what we're having to deal with around the world right now. And it's already been tested. We've tested it, and it is highly, highly effective.
For COVID?
Yes.
For COVID-19.
We tested it on SARS, and we got brilliant results. I know one of the medical doctors, without mentioning his name, on the association in Nigeria, who was absolutely on the board, on the association, and they used it for Ebola. And it was extremely effective for the frontline workers. They saved their lives. And I'm here to tell you that this is the one thing that you need to support in your body, get it into your body as fast as possible, especially with what's happening around the world right now. 100%.
Wow. Now, for autoimmune disorder, fibromyalgia, and I read something about ADHD, because we have lots of moms and dads who are struggling, not knowing what to do with their children, and most of them, they don't want their kids to go on Ritalin and all those other medications. So is this something that is advisable? I read it somewhere that some they use it for their kids and they have excellent results. So what do you think?
Yes, 100%. Number one, I was a victim of fibromyalgia. My fibromyalgia was literally, my body was on fire. I had Dr. Miller in Melbourne, actually. She diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. And I didn't even know what it was. But basically, my body was on fire. And that's why I said my pain was all over the body. It was actually, they call it mitochondria burnout. Now, I call mitochondria burnout not having enough glutathione in your cells. And I was an athlete. I had used up all my stores. My body shut down at the age of 28 after the car accidents, but I used to be a very successful athlete, and I was training 5 hours a day. Now, if I was born 50% depleted and I was training 5 hours a day for most of my life, from the age of 5, I used to be a runner. By the time I was in my 20s, I've been training at the gym my whole life. By the time I was 28, I hit burnout. Fibromyalgia is inflammation of the cells on fire. Now, the moment you put glutathione in the mix, within weeks, we see an incredible change with fibromyalgia because it's an inbuilt cooling system. And I've seen it. I've experienced it myself, but I've also seen it of many, many people. I've even seen it with plantar fasciitis. Plantar fasciitis is inflammation under the feet. Your feet are on fire. So we've seen extraordinary changes. Now, I'll talk about children that are on the spectrum. You need to know that children that are on the spectrum, especially autism, they're born with 1% glutathione levels as opposed to 100% in a healthy child. Now, when we give children And this is obviously under the guise of their doctor. When we give them a glutathione support. Now, the only tests that we test children, the only test that you can get in Australia from your doctor is if a child has been diagnosed with autism, the one test they will do is will test their glutathione levels, and they will find out that they will know that they'll be extremely low. Now, ADD is on the other side of the spectrum. Now, I'm going to talk about ADHD, which is hyperactivity. Now, what is hyperactivity? If you've got a child that is born with less glutathione and it is being exposed to toxicity in the air we breathe, in the food we eat, and the water we drink, it has toxins running around its brain every day and it is not able to expel them. So it's like wired, that the child is wired all the time. It's like giving a cat or a dog chocolate. I've seen it on YouTube. You're not supposed to do that because they run around like this. It causes a mental, the chemical reaction with the toxins that people are, that the children have been exposed to from just the air that we breathe, right? I mean, if you look at the exhaust fumes from the cars alone, I mean, that child does not have the ability to expel the toxicity daily as it should be. Therefore, it is building up in the body and the child can't help but have hyperactivity. Now, when the doctors give them a form of glutathione that raises their glutathione levels, most of them are using our supplement, it's very interesting. We start to see behavioural changes for the positive. We see calmer children because all of a sudden they're expelling the toxins and they're calm. And so we've got the doctors that are doing it. We've got the doctors that have been educated in this area and have been educated in genetics, and they understand. Now, this is very advanced technology, very advanced. Now, not everybody around Australia at the moment, but it will be implemented within the next 10 to 20 years, that every practitioner will be able to provide this test and provide the solution now that we have the technology available. But it's just at the beginning, and we are at the beginning of spreading the word and getting the word out there. And you will see a lot more and more and more and more. I mean, GSH Plus will be a household name within the next 5 years.
Wow.
And we're at the beginning.
Yes. And I'm happy to know about it. The last one that I would like to check with you, if this is working on cellular level, how about those people who are overcoming cancer or they've been diagnosed with cancer?
Yes. Well, glutathione is a brilliant support product for anybody who's got any kind of illness, and we use it for pre and post cancer treatment. Now, sometimes you can use it whilst you're on your medication. However, it is very important to check with your doctor that the cancer medication that you're on should not have any kind of platinum-based or metal-based in your medication. If you're on any kind of platinum-based medication or metal-based medication, you have to stop the GSH at the time, and then when you've completed that medication or chemo, you can then go back onto the GSH and support your cells the way they need support. So during your treatment, but you must check with your doctor. Your doctor will tell you whether it is compatible with the medication that you're on or not. But yes, we highly recommend to support your cells pre and post any surgery, no matter what the surgery, or pre and post cancer. Absolutely 100% you need the extra support.
All right. Thank you for that. Now, for everyone watching around the world, if they want to know at what level their GSH is in their system, can they just walk to their doctor's office and request for a test, or what do they have to do?
Yeah. In America, every doctor will do it. But unfortunately in Australia, because we're a little bit behind, we don't have that. We don't have a lab in Australia that does that kind of test. So we don't have that test available in Australia. But if you're living in the US, you can absolutely go to your doctor and have that test done. Absolutely. And I don't know exactly when Australia will have that, but it will be probably within the next 10 years. And I mean, there might be a doctor in
All
America
right.
that can do the test. They can have a search online and find a doctor in America that can do the test for them. If they want to measure their levels before, absolutely. Or they can just try the product. It's cheaper to try the product rather than paying for the test and see how they feel within 4 to 8 weeks.
All right. So I'm just trying to type something up here, and I'll read it out to you. I'll put it up for people to see. Somebody who I shared my story a few weeks ago, over a month, 6 weeks ago actually. I typed up my story that blah blah blah, and this lady contacted me. She lives in United States and said, Vicky, it's like you're talking about me. Can you tell me what you use and how do I get it? So I gave her the link. She ordered. I didn't even know she ordered until last week. So she sent a message yesterday, and I'll read it out to you and the others. Thank you for introducing me to GSH Plus. My back pain is gone and my skin is glowing. And I notice that I sleep like a baby.
Yes. Fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that. That's fantastic. And you will be hearing, I think the most rewarding thing for me when I first started supporting this is that all the feedback we got and we continue to get is so profound. To be able to give someone, to not have the pain that they're suffering, aches and pains, we get older, we get on fire, and we need to be able to support it. And I think that is just you've made my day, Vicky. You've made my day.
I was in a restaurant when it came through, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is fantastic!" I know it will because I have used it myself, and it worked for me. It worked really well, and I mean, I'm going to say this, Anna. 4 of my medications is gone now. I'm never using them again.
Fantastic.
4. There is one of those medications that cost me $98 every 3 weeks.
Wow.
$98 every 3 weeks.
That's a
I
lot
don't
of
have
money.
to go back on it anymore. So it's changed my life. And my husband couldn't believe it. My specialist just couldn't believe it. My kidney function test that I did last week, 2 weeks ago, the test was done. I went back to check my result, and my doctor was like, "What are you using? Because this is strange, just doesn't happen like this. So what have you been using?" And I was able to share it with him, and he was like, "Okay, can I order some myself?" So it is amazing. It is working. And there was a time that I watched a video of a medical doctor in US who was talking about, and I think it's part of the people that created Provision GSH Plus, that he was talking about is been practicing medicine for donkey years, and the reason why he didn't even know about glutathione, it cannot explain it. But how much it works for almost all conditions is amazing. And this guy was I think he was talking at a conference. I can't remember precisely. And he was talking about Zion and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, wow, Zion GSH Plus with the main ingredient in it is glutathione, and it's good for our body, especially for as you get older, you need to replenish. You need to refuel yourself. You can't drive a car that
On
has no
empty.
fuel.
That's right.
I tried it once, and people were yelling and screaming and swearing at me because my husband, I did everything, nothing worked until I put fuel in it. Sometimes we need to do that for ourselves. By the time I got on to GSH Plus, I had no fuel in me. I had nothing. I was empty and I was desperate that I needed something, even though I didn't talk to you about it. The fact that you just said, I will send you something, I've packaged something, it's on its way. When it arrives, just use it. It was like an answer to my prayer because I was telling my husband, I'm tired of taking all this every day. There are some you have to take 3 times a day. And that was just to get me back to being my old self. And I was tired of it. Now, almost all my medications is gone.
And you feel normal. You feel normal, as you should be feeling.
Normal. Exactly. I feel normal.
That's right. And happy, when we're not well, we're not happy. And this is about being happy and not being scared. And if you know that you've done everything you can for your immune system, and you're not scared, you can go out and live life to the fullest. And look, in America, because our manufacturing facility is there in America, people are very lucky. They can order 2 bottles and get free shipping. It's amazing. They get free shipping. We don't get free shipping, but perhaps in the next 2 years we will. And once we get enough, we have to spread the word to help as many people as possible. Then eventually we'll be able to have our facility here as well. So we've got our beautiful manufacturing facility in Dallas, which is one of the highest sanitation. It's national sanitation certified. So our product is being made in the most secure facility, a safe facility that takes, so that we're getting a high quality made product. And we ship it out from the US into the 4 countries at the moment: Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and America. But watch this space, because in the next 10 years, we are going places.
So if people in Europe, people in any part of Africa, if they're interested, what will happen if they want to order? What do they need to do?
So they have to speak to their friends or family in the 4 countries that we're currently shipping to, because that's where we're registered to ship. And if they want to send their families a present or a gift over there, they can. But we can't do business in those countries yet, because we have to go through the formal process of the governments to register formally, because we're not able to pay our distributors in those countries yet. Once we go through the formal processes in the future for those countries that are like Africa and Europe, we'll be able to do business in those countries and distribute product to those countries, but not at the moment. That's coming in the future. Don't worry, we will get there.
Wow. So it's a show called Becoming Unstoppable, Anna, and you've proved to us that you are actually unstoppable from accidents, fibromyalgia, and other medical conditions, and you are still here. You are still standing, and you are still helping a lot of people. So we thank you and we appreciate you for coming on to our show and showing us that no matter what you've been through, you can still be unstoppable. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you so much, Vicky. And I look forward to seeing you one-to-one. I can't wait.
I can't wait. I just want all this COVID thing to disappear. So I can come over and spend a week or so in Sydney with you and Stephen. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Say hello to Stephen, Dr. Stephen. Thank you so much, Dr. Vicky. I look forward to seeing you. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for the time. Thank you, Vicky.
God bless you, Anna. You take care. My love to Stephen.
Yes, and you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
So, to all you, our viewers around the world, we thank you for joining us today to listen to beautiful Anna on on becoming unstoppable. She told us how she's managed to do all that. A wonderful woman who is still going places. So I appreciate you for joining me today. I thank you, and I hope you can join me again next Wednesday, same time, same place. You have a great week. And